Good morning, LCU. This is Sour Power here with Abby today. Ooh, it's a whole new channel for me. How is it going, everyone? Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. We are going to get it started here. Now, we have not gotten a chance to build a brand new song yet, so I'm going to say this is most likely the last time we'll hear the old song, but we'll see. Let's go.
Lights down, chat loud. Strike the match, FFS. You already know. Yeah. Pulling up live, sparks in our eyes, smoke in the air, truth mixed with lies. Screens glow red when the timer ticks. We don't beg, we burn for it. Names light up when the donors land. Every flame got a helping hand, from the first hello to the last goodbye. You keep the fire alive. Hands up, feed the flame. Every click, every name. Hear that crackle, feel that rush. Say it with us, say it loud. FFS, feel the fire. FFS, take it higher. Donos hit and the blaze won't stop. Lights ignite when the stories drop. FFS, stand behind us. FFS, right beside us. From the spark to the burning end. Fire for sluts. This is family. Late nights, chaos, laughs, and heat. Truth or lies at our feet. You throw gas, we light the fuse. Nothing here, we're scared to lose. Every voice in the scrolling sea makes this more than just you and me. Built this flame from chat and trust. All it takes is one more spark. Hands up, feed the flame. Every click, every name. Hear that crackle, feel that rush. Say it with us, say it loud. FFS, feel the fire. FFS, take it higher. Donos hit and the blaze won't stop. Lights ignite when the stories drop. FFS, stand behind us. FFS, right beside us. From the spark to the burning end. Fire for sluts. This is family. Still burning when the screen goes black. Every flame finds its way back. If it's hot, if it's loud, if it's us, you know who started it.
Oh, hello, hello, hello. We are switching over to Abby. How's it going? Oh, let me get you turned up a little bit so they can hear you. Here, try that again.
Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Oh, I'm home.
You are. You had quite a long travel for this last bit here.
Yes, I did. I am so happy to be home, though. Holy cow. Near the end of that, I was getting very sick of nonstop. Just nonstop.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of peopling for an introduction into the LCU.
Yes.
I had a great time
100%.
watching from afar on all of this, and I hope everyone else did too at Fat Camp. But yeah, a lot of peopling in a short period of time.
Yes. I'm not used to that. I'm very used to just being at home, and I'm very happy with just being at home.
Makes
It's
you
a good experience.
makes you appreciate it a little bit more. So,
Mhm.
new co-host yet again. I don't plan on quitting or being fired on my first day. Here's hoping.
Oh. Now let's make it 4. I'll have 4 co-hosts quit. Let's make it 4.
Oh, come on. You're writing me off that early already.
Please.
Come on. Come on.
No, please don't. Oh my gosh. It would look so bad if I managed to make 4 people quit in a week. It'd be bad.
At that point, it's a you problem, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's already like I can make reasons for everyone else quitting, but it does look really bad on me.
No. I mean, look, some of the decisions made at Fat Camp were part of it. I know that there was already, potentially a thing with the job.
Mm-hmm.
Glammy.
Yep.
We're going to get into that a bit.
She's
Glammied.
She quits all the time.
And
Yeah.
So yeah, now we're here. So that being said, how do you feel about now kind of being, I don't know if I'd call it the lead on the channel, but kind of being the last one standing on the channel? How are you feeling about this?
I mean, I'm excited. I am, but it's still, I don't know. It's crazy. It is. The moment I get comfortable somewhere, it seems like everything kind of just gets messed up and reset, and it's like, okay, so that you just can't be comfortable here at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. We adopted you over on Locale Jester as the unofficial intern, which, I mean, you were amazing on there. You know, whenever I needed something, you were pretty good about being responsive or hopping on, or, you know, we did a bunch of streams where, like the one you dressed up as a guy and did the makeup for that. Like, we've had a bunch of fun times there. So when I got the news that I was going to be over on Locale Fire, I was like, ooh, I'm excited because I've worked with you before and we've worked together pretty well in the past, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so too. I would much rather work with somebody that I've previously worked with than a brand new person, because like having the show all to myself is already a new scary thing, and then having a new co-host and trying to figure that out at the same time, I probably would have quit. I'm not gonna lie. I probably just been like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I mean, so up until Jester, I had never done a full solo stream. And so like when I started seeing you getting into that point where you were like, oh no, I'm going to have to solo stream this. So I'll walk you through like some of the things that I considered, especially as the one that's running the shows normally. So for me, it's, you know, sometimes you got to click around and do things. Now, today we're running on a very strange operation. I've been keeping an eye on it. I believe everything's working. Everyone can hear us, whatever else, because neither one of us currently have back end. So Josh did us the favor of setting up the auto start, auto stop. So we should be all good on that. Thank you very much, Josh, for setting that up. But, you know, there's some things you got to click around and do while you're running OBS. And so it's difficult sometimes to like do that and then have someone to fill the space in. And so normally you could have a second person fill in the space and you don't have that. And there's things like that start, make you nervous because you're like having to talk, having to think, having to click around. So,
well, I heavily rely like bouncing off of somebody. So the idea of having to fill up 2 hours of just me rambling is, no.
Right.
And that's without OBS.
And that's
without me having to worry about that.
And that's the tough one. Now, we are locked into just the greens today because although Josh did set it up, I don't believe he's actually awake. So as much as I would love to set a goal to release the greens today, guys, I don't think we can do that because we don't have someone to actually release the grays once the time comes. Now, I don't know how you feel about it. I know that when we were on before, the grays are just as much to me. Like I'd pick out grays just as much as greens for the chats and things because that's really what keeps some of the conversation moving to me.
Yeah. I mean, Yo Mama made a good point earlier when he was talking about it, that big shows can do that, but smaller shows rely on, just like it's interaction with the people who are tuning in, and that some people, they don't want to tune into something and then feel like they're expected to give money to be able to interact. Like they just want to be able to hop on something and have fun. And then it turns into like, oh, it's like Netflix and Hulu, and like now I have to pay for YouTube, and like I get it. I do like the idea of making the goal where they can be unlocked. Bigger shows can hit that every time though, but I've seen shows doing like I saw Bus earlier do 5 members on unlocked. So
and there was a little controversy about that. Now that being said, Zachary Ludlow, hello, good morning. Iced Coffee
Good
Girl,
morning.
I see you guys chatting in there as well. Definitely appreciate seeing you guys chatting for us. So yeah, today, obviously you've had the channel for a bit, but the just getting home, I've got it earlier today. So today I did want to go through I guess kind of some of your fat camp experience. And then I do have a couple little fun stories that are on the side that we're going to do on the back side. But I mean, obviously today is kind of like fat camp decompression day for a lot of the channels. And I think for yourself,
Yes.
you know, although you were new, there was obviously a whole bunch of things that I think your perspective would be very interesting to get on. So I'm genuinely curious because like from my end, I, you know, tried jumping on the chats, tried watching where I could. I tried helping some channels. I helped Wild with one of their shows. Oh, Leo Lambda. Now let's see if this actually TTS's. I'm hoping it will. Will the TTS? I do have it added. I don't know if it's going to. Well, Leo, thank you very much, Leo. I've been chatting with you from time to time in the Discord, guys. If you have a Band World member, obviously you can add an extra $5 on top of that to cash cow up, and you can get in the Discord. I have chatted with Leo a little bit and a handful of your others. I will see if I can do something with that TTS because it does not seem like it is wanting to make sound. Damn, the first one. Well, I don't have a special Fire TTS, so I'm going to use the other one. I'm sorry to kind of like rehab a little bit of Jester stuff, but we got to have something for us.
No, that is fine. You're not a fire slut, so.
Oh, I could be. You never know. Is it this one? Nope, not that one. Nope. 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 Oh, no. Here it is.
We're getting all the sounds.
Fire runs the night, okay. Oh, all right. Well, I will try getting TTS fixed for it while we're going here, but it does not sound like it wants to do its thing today, which is kind of annoying.
That was a problem all of fat camp anyways.
Yeah, so that's a good spot to start. So after we knew we were going to turn over Jester channel, I was not aware he was going to do a test that same day. So I'm just on there doing my thing. I'm like, oh, I wonder when they're going to, you know, start and this and that. And then I see it shoots a notification to me that there's a stream starting. And I was like, oh crap, did I click something, right? Like what happened to me? And then I see it says test. I was like, oh, cool. So they fire one up. All of a sudden, TTS doesn't work. Keem is instantly like, hey, like, is your OBS open? No, what's going on? So, you know, it ended up just being TTS as always, breaking. But then, of course, all of a sudden there's a flood of new people and they start, you know, some of them start writing crazy things. So I'm like trying to go in there in a mod and then being like, who do we have to mod? Because our mods are not used to that time slot. So I'm like adding hosts, trying to add mod, delete insane comments that some people decided to leave early on. But honestly, the first test stream like went very well, and it was kind of a interesting start to Fat Camp because I wasn't expecting that at all. But I was like, hey, I'm here to help, right? And you were still on the way because I believe you came to. There was a test, and then like the first kind of sorted day, and then you came the day after that, correct?
Yeah, I showed up on Monday, but I showed up at like 11 p.m. So not technically was Monday, but I mean, I don't know. And then day one I already managed to screw up on day one being there for 30 minutes. Thanks, your mama. I mean, I'm an adult. I could have known not to do that, but.
So I know you got some heat for that. And look, I'm not saying it was entirely undeserved. But at the same time,
yeah.
And this is from my perspective, because I did actually catch that as it was happening. You went towards the bathroom pretty quickly just to like get away from the not be taking, you know, normal person thing, like not be taking a call in the Jester room.
And then also I had no service in there and it echoed really bad. And so I was like, okay, I got to move somewhere else. That's when I realized there's no service in this area.
Right.
Like there's no way you're taking phone calls. I mean, I ended up not really getting in that much trouble for it. Like Phantom, he pulled me out and he was like, you could be sent home tomorrow. You really messed up. And I was like, been here for like 30 minutes. Like, what is going on? But then I ended up like the next day, like when I talked, like when Keem talked to me in the jester's room, he was like, oh, you had a conversation? Like, you were here for 30 minutes? Okay. Like, there's something you can even tell. So like I went up there and I was like, the address is blah, blah, blah. We're in this city.
Right.
Like,
exactly. Now, that being said, I don't know how much of had you watched much of Fat Camp 1?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes. So I didn't even know about the LCU, but everyone was talking about Fat Camp 1. So I had seen it from like other like reaction channels, and I had no clue what the LCU was. I was just like, oh, I know some of these people. Like, this is crazy. Like the fights that happened, you know, people getting pushed.
Yeah, so I guess in seeing that, so talking about the fights from Fat Camp 1, like obviously there was the I don't know, Beck stuff and Roxy stuff or whatever you want to, however we're going to do it, Mort's fight and thing like that. Now Roxy had been intentionally like doing some like camera things. So like I get everyone's reactions on that. And don't get me wrong, like part of the way through the call when you came back, I think it was something where you came back out and he asked something for you to check out. And you kind of just did. And then you were like, wait a minute.
Well, he had asked me, he said, do you know about the Gidgey fight with Xylee? And I said, no. And he said, go ask her. So I was like, oh, okay. Like a host is asking me to ask another host what's going on. Okay.
Right.
And then I did. And that was like the majority of it. And they knew I was on the phone with him because I announced, oh, hey, yo mama's calling me, and then stepped out. So they knew I was on the phone. I still shouldn't have done it, I guess. Like, now I know.
No,
and I knew from then on. I was like, people were taking videos for like vlogs and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm not even taking pictures with people. I got no pictures with anybody.
So I get that. Now, you haven't really talked too much about, because like you did a show with Yo Mama at one point, and I thought that went very well. And like, I think he recognized early on, you know, how well you are on shows. And I know there was talk of like possibly you 50-50ing or not talk, but you know, chat had said or whatever, like you maybe 50-50ing with Glammy and things. Is it strange to you that he then tried like I can't tell if from your perspective, I guess, does it feel like he tried like snaking that call to find out what's going on? Or do you think he just called and then you were just like, oh, hey, and didn't?
I mean, from my perspective now, I definitely think he was like, ooh, she's like, I can get something out of her. Let's get the tea. Because he hopped up on another show that I was doing and was asking me for like, oh, what's the tea? What's happening? And I gave him a bunch of fake information.
Oh, I don't know if I saw. Was that while he was live too?
Mm-hmm.
So you've intentionally, okay, so the
live.
second time you've intentionally given him, I didn't see that one.
I think it was on Gold. I think it was the Gold episode where he hopped up and I was like, oh yeah, trunk full of Diddy oil. This is just a big old gooner party. Like, you know, and then I was like, yeah, I'm not allowed to talk to you. I'm not allowed to. You're not at Fat Camp. I can't talk to you. And he was like, what? Host can't talk to host now? And he got really upset about that. And I was like, I mean, I'm not lying. I'm not supposed to talk to you in certain areas. I could have definitely been more truthful, but
right.
I mean, he didn't call me after that.
So I believe he tried calling one or two other hosts while I was there, and I do know
quite a few.
Well, he did talk to Keem at Fat Camp, but there was someone else that he called that they ended up talking to him in there that was a bit more like on the nose and genuine, right? Like there was somewhere it was, you know, him calling in things like that. But yeah, it's very weird that I don't know. I didn't like the fact that like whenever I get a call from work, even though, you know, I'm in construction sites and things all the time, I always go, hey, you're on speakerphone, right? Like that's the first thing I do, because if someone wants to say some crazy shit, I want them to know like there's going to be someone else hearing, right? And I get this is the LCU, and sometimes you're going to, you know, try finding things out or whatever. But it's weird because I feel like he could have probably told you that he was live and could have like asked for something because the chubby girls were going to do a thing on the bathroom lock, right? And that was something they did later, far later on. Like if you were trying to snake something to me, I would have been like, Abby, get your ass over to that bathroom. I want to see the lock on that what they call the Wonder Woman bathroom. Like, why wouldn't you? That could be something that like legitimately you could have done and gotten some crazy content out of right away. Like I feel like he played his hand so poorly because there's no way. Like you're not dumb, right? Like if he could have kept asking, if he would have kept asking questions, I think it was very obvious right up front that you were like, wait a minute, are you like the questions are weird, right? Like, are you live? Yeah. Like he could have gotten a ton of content and snaked a bunch of content that other hosts did there right away by being like, hey, go check out that bathroom, show what it is. So, like he could have done all that. And I feel like he swung and missed on it. And it's crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a learning lesson though. You know, it was a good introduction, I think.
I guess.
It was a great first 30 minutes of being like, oh, well, now everyone's going to assume that I'm like constantly calling people or videoing or whatever. But the great thing about the LCU is even if you screw up something, someone does something worse fairly soon after, and then people just forget about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess my last comment on that is like, I love Yo Mama's content. And I love a lot of the stuff he's been doing all the way up through. I think just the amount of stuff that he's coming up with day to day, whether he has a co-host or not, like I said, soloing to me, he says like no other host can solo, no other host, like they're writing in the host chat to find someone right away. He's not wrong. Most people won't do a solo show at all. I have done a couple of them to varying degrees of success. I'm not like rah-rahing myself. Towards the end when I had to solo, like I pretty much just did them, and then a handful of people popped up, which I was super thankful for. Elsifer popped up. I believe you popped up on one. Kimmy popped up on one. I had a few other people, but like I never reached out to anyone else to do it because it was kind of a challenge, right? Because it was a thing where I recognize that like no other hosts really do them, and there's a few here and there, but it's tough. So I love all the content that Yo Mama does, but I really feel like he shot himself in the foot for Fat Camp. She's got earbuds so she can still hear me. I really feel like he shot himself in the foot for Fat Camp because I feel like he could have called in a little bit later, gotten some actual content out, and he just like screwed himself on the content for it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Again, I love his content too. Like he's one of the few people, he doesn't need a co-host. He is able to just do that all by himself and keep like I'm engaged the entire time. Like I think it's funny. And you know, I know he has done problematic things like the whole Glammy thing, talking to her at Fat Camp, like it genuinely upset her how she was being treated, and you know, but I ended up doing the same thing. So it's almost like that's kind of just how she presents herself. It's almost inevitable, sadly.
Ooh, I want to get into that. I just want to read. So Jen Mark says, so why were people calling BS is because Yo Mama was reading out super chats and talking to chat while talking to her. So people say she knew. Now, was he... I guess I'll believe Jen Mark as far as the reading out because I don't remember with that specificity.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Was he muting? Like, were you hearing? Did at some point did you catch one, or was he muting when reading out a super chat? And again, if you don't remember, you don't remember.
I mean, I don't remember him doing that, but I do remember like barely being able to understand half of the things he was saying because again, there's like you're either on SOS or you have one bar anywhere in there unless you're outside of the house you get a little bit of service but I do remember having to like be like what are you saying because it was just cutting out over and over and I don't know. I mean I know this is like a shitty like bad excuse, but I had just been in the car for 14 hours and it was like late at night and I was like I want to go to bed and like I don't know, I wasn't fully paying attention as much as I could have been. Again, shouldn't have done it. He didn't get anything out of me though. So
Alex Jones 93, welcome to Band World. Thank you very much. We are going to play an old one because the TTS is not entirely TTSing, it appears.
that's okay.
So we're going to play this one. And guys, I'll have sounds for you tomorrow. It's we were just trying to get everything going for today. It is what it is. TTS does not appear to be TTSing. I do have the link in there, but yeah, we will definitely have it for tomorrow. So Glammy. Oh, Glammy. I'm glad you went there next because I feel like my what I'll call relationship with Glammy is a bit different than a lot of other hosts because for me, she's been someone that's hopped in like when I've needed someone or, you know, would have rathered have someone than no one when there was chats. You know, there was times she saw like, oh, you know, if someone was late or whatever, she'd hop in. She's always also very nice to talk to in the background. And Alex Jones says, remember to like the stream. Thank you very much. Yeah. I do have a light counter in the top. Everything's broken today. I'm not sure why it's so broken, but we're going to keep running with it. Yeah. So for me, she was always someone that was very helpful. Like she's very goofy and, she has some of the, like my mother actually has a little bit of the goofiness qualities of her. And I don't know, she's kind of as much as she's kind of craziness, she's also like a staple in the LCU community, which is weird to say because I think she's on show number, is it 13? I believe.
I was her 13th reason.
Damn. I mean,
That might have been.
you're not wrong,
I
but
was her 13th show.
damn. Okay. Okay.
Oh.
You got me. Yep.
Oops.
I love this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You were her 13th reason. Okay. Yes. Damn. So I hosted co-hosted Pitt for a day with Glammy because she, you know, just like a lot of other hosts, didn't want to do one on her own. I was like, yeah, sure. You know, and we had a couple story ideas. We had the whole Wonder Woman break in to the show thing and they had their argument. You know, Ken was up there for the early part and he helped me wrangle a little bit. And I had already known that Glammy had just a couple drinks to start out with. And then, you know, as you go through, you kind of get a count. And it was in that like 4 to 5 range where Gangster Glammy came out during that fight. And I was like, oh, who's this? Like, that was a little weird. Okay. And then like towards the end, I actually made a comment, something like, oh, you landed the plane perfectly, because she started like getting to the point where I was like, all right, we're good. And, but like it went fine, right? Like the stream went fine. The next day, Glammy was, in my opinion, I know people don't like it, but to me, Glammy was sweeping in W's with both arms all through the whole pit stream after that. Then they did a members only one, started getting a little rough. And I had messaged her in the background and said, hey, chill, like be careful. Because I knew from the day before. She then sunk herself with all the stuff that she had going on. So when she showed up on the show with you, was she already having a few beforehand? Like, do you know?
She was never sober. She never drank. I never saw her drinking there, but she also didn't stay, like she didn't stay at Fat Camp. So she was getting plastered before she got there.
Oh.
Because she was Gangster Glammy no matter what. She was never not Gangster Glammy.
Damn.
My first interaction with her, she comes up to me and she's like, and I'm like, oh, hi. I go to give her a hug and she's like, I'm disappointed in you.
Oh.
I went, Glammy. Why? Why are you disappointed in me? And she went, you jumped on the bandwagon and said what everyone else said. And I went, no, I'm an adult. Like, I made decisions for myself. I was in the VC while all of that was going down. I can, I made my own, formed my own thoughts on everything, formed my own opinions.
Right.
And I told her, if everything that was said and everything that other people said was true, you wouldn't be here. Obviously, Keem did his research, found out what had actually happened. He obviously thinks that nothing terrible happened because you're here. And she went, oh, so you only believe me because Keem does. And I went, no, he's a third party who looked into the situation, has not, like, yes, he's your boss, but he has nothing to do with that situation. And I trust him. Like, I trust his judgment more than I do yours. And she didn't like that very much. I was like, I don't care. You're not going to immediately walk up to me and say you're disappointed in me. That is such an insult.
Right. Especially
Like,
when, I mean,
Glammy, come on.
I feel like, not for nothing, but like up to this point, like there's been times where you've had like spots where you've like kind of hit on someone a little harder, but like for the most part, you've been pretty chill here, right? Like you're not like most of the time just reaching out to strike. And like, I know some people maybe have had issues with things you've said or whatever. And I think as part of this show for both of us, we're going to start working on, being a little more outspoken on things. But up until that point, I don't feel like you were that hard on someone. And it's kind of weird for her to say that up front to you when there were plenty of hosts that like did entire Glammy level shows just ripping on her.
No, like all we did, we didn't even talk about the first situation. We went over the clip where she talked to Tina and she made the Tina comments.
Yeah.
And I told her she's unredeemable after that. That was pretty much my statement on it, was you had the first situation. You could have come back from that, but now you've added on to that first situation and you've pulled another host into it. And there is video proof of exactly what you're saying to somebody and the effect. Like me and Luna both agreed that is probably one of the worst things she has publicly said. And it was disgusting. And then she went into Fat Camp, into the Jester's room, didn't apologize to Tina. She doubled down.
Right. And
later on, she apologized.
That's where there was kind of a problem. And not only that, but it's like, okay, if you had something to say, she was given an opportunity, or not you, her, she was given an opportunity on Fire to like be sitting next to you and knock you down, right? Like, I think it's fair to say that, even though not everyone considers her like, the most amazing host all the time, like she can pull them out and hit hard if she wants to. Most of the time it's unfortunately when she's kind of trapped in the corner, but like all she spent the time doing when on the show with you was just like having this weird side conversation thing where you just like started losing your mind. Like what?
Well, she was fighting with people in chat. I was like, stop reading that. Who cares? They're saying the same thing that everyone else does. Like, just stop. And like, I went in there and I knew that morning, Keem was like, you and Glammy. Glammy doesn't have Yo Mama here. She doesn't want to work with Yo Mama. Let's try, you need a co-host. Let's do that. I didn't want to do it. I already didn't want to do it. I'm like, I'm not a wrangler. I've never been in the situation where I'm a wrangler. And she is one that I feel like you need experience with her. I was like, whatever, we'll make this work. And so I told her, let's do a show. I want to know what you want to do in the LCU. I want to know how you want to present yourself as a host. Like, if you were given a brand new show, what would you do with it? Like, let's answer all these questions. Let's have chat ask you questions. And I'm going to, like, this will be the Glammy show for today. You get the spotlight. You get to show yourself. Like, because that's what she wanted. And then she just got one guide the whole time. Well, she got like 20 guide, but don't read it. Just don't read it. And eventually, like, she could have gone after me after I started, like, crashing out on her. She could have started poking back, but she didn't. She just, like, started defending herself in a very pathetic way, and it just made me more mad. The one had to leave.
Yeah, so I messaged you in the background when you left, and I trust me, I totally understand why you were just like, I can't. You had the Ken, by the way, happy birthday to Ken today. You had the Ken Kane,
Happy
right?
birthday.
So you just kind of got to the point, and it was towards the end of the show. I 100% understand, but I was like, this is your fucking show. Get back in there and get it right. Like I wrote that. And I also understood why you were like, you were past the point of no return. But to me, it's so crazy that, that you, even after being told that, like that was her last shot and she decided to shoot herself square in the foot. And it's so crazy to me, like given an opportunity. And Zachary even said, Sour, I think Glammy tried to get fired from every show in the LCU.
Yes, it seems like that.
And sometimes you wonder if that's what it is. I don't know, because like she'll be doing good on one, like Pitt is crazy. Now, does Yo Mama push Glammy sometimes past the point? Yeah, all the time, all the time, right? But at the same time, I feel like that's where she does best, is like riding the line of like frustrated and pissed and not. And I get that that's like probably difficult to work under, but it's been working.
It's been entertaining. Like I do get it, because she was saying she mentally couldn't handle it anymore and she just can't be bullied constantly. And I get that, but stop being bullyable.
Right. Like instead of, because I feel like a lot of it was just fighting back. So I've played the clip before of Boogie being like, hey, never defend, attack, 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 which it is advice from Boogie, granted, but he knows how to do it, right? And that's been one of the things I have found. Like anytime there's someone that has any kind of trouble thing, you don't necessarily have to attack with like some aggression thing, right? But it's more of I don't know. I feel like if you're just like, well, I didn't do it this way, and then you start saying things that are like a little bit off, and there's like a little bit of thing here and a little bit of thing there, and there's a whole bunch of these things that like the audience is like catching every word and like, oh, you said it this way and you said it that way. And I feel like you've learned this because you've had to go on live. I mean, so going back to your first day a little bit, you know, you had a big thing with steak, and that was a pretty huge one, right up front. And like, yeah, were you, oh, this microphone is having its day today. You know, did you have your issues or whatever 100%? But I also feel like in your own way, to the best of your ability, you fought back, and he kind of ended up with like the respect, right? He still has his issues, you know, he still had some issues with you, but I feel like in the LCU, that's been something that you've been pretty good at considering how new you are.
I mean, he said I'm one of the, I fought back the longest. That I stuck through it the longest. But I'm not going to lie, I did go on Babes, and I literally said, I surrender. I waved the white flag. And then he said he backed off because he's like, oh, like I literally made a woman like bow down. And I was like, dude, I don't want to beef with him anymore. It's like the last person that him and Xylee, last people that I want to have issues with.
Right.
They have their audience where, you know, they are just big characters in the LCU.
Yeah, and I mean they've been doing it for a long time. Naughty member for 4 months. Thank you for the member 4 months, Cash Cow.
Thank you.
Question for Abby. MTV Nick said before he left in the jester's room that the EMT bag was your father's and not yours. Is that true or not? Interesting.
Yeah, it was a combination. I mean, the actual bag was his, but it had both of, like, it was a combination of our things.
Oh, that's cool.
EMTs do not just have, like, I wish that I just had, like, a big old med bag and had oxygen and all this stuff, but he's done this for 20 years. Like, he's a firefighter paramedic. So he's done it for a long time. He's, like, slowly collected his collection of things, and, you know, I haven't done it for 20 years. I would love to eventually be able to have that. So if something happened at my house, I could just use it. But I mean,
yeah, no, that's actually super cool.
I had it.
I didn't hear that. So thank you, Naughty, for asking that question, because I actually didn't see that.
Yes, thank you.
Now, speaking on Nick, Nick had left early from Fat Camp because there were, you know, things going on. His is it his girlfriend?
His girlfriend.
Girlfriend
Sure.
is quite pregnant And so, I know he got a called away for that. And I believe I just saw the last update that he popped in for just a minute with Gidgy and Cat Lady on Rebels. And the chair he's sitting in, so you know, a lot of like the hospital chairs are like these crappy things built into the wall, or they're like just square mattress. He's got like this head surround thing, and it's this big comfy chair, and he's sitting back. He's like, oh, hey guys, how's it going? Now, not to subtract from whatever stress is going on, I 100% get it, but every other hospital chair I've ever seen is a nightmare to lay on. And he's like on this nice puffy chair. Oop, I might have lost you. We got paused.
He's in an OB room, or he's in a delivery.
Here,
Is it big sound?
You might need to just jump out and jump back in. All right, she'll be right back. But yeah, guys, Nick pops in on Rebels, and he's in this nice comfy chair, laid right back. I'm like, dude, every other father in the world knows the terribleness of the chair. As far as like the, first hour, sure, second hour. I've spent plenty of time in the hospital with my grandmother back in the day. Like, I know how terrible those chairs get pretty soon. And he's in this nice cushy one. Like, if they upgraded them all of a sudden, did I miss something in the hospital world?
If he's in a delivery room or like the OB area, they have some nice little chairs and couches.
Okay, yeah. Because any of the other ones, like even my friends, when they've had kids, they're like, ugh, the worst part is the chair. You like try getting pillows and stacking them up and things like that. I was just like, oh, damn, dude. But yeah, we're wishing the best for Nick and his girlfriend. Sorry. We're wishing the best for them because I know that there's last he said they're going to be staying overnight, but I don't believe there's any like serious thing, at least as far as what he said. But either way, we'll respect what he's got going on and just give him well wishes. What was the other part? Oh, biggest star at Fat Camp today. Keen put a poll out earlier today. As far as who he picked the ones out of them. So the choices were Glammy, Phantom, Boogie, and Turbo. Turbo won.
I saw that.
By a significant margin. What are your thoughts on that?
I do think that Turbo had like probably the most like clipped moments, like on live. Like he is a new person coming in. I mean, he's not new, but like
to this,
not on a show.
Yeah,
and,
to this universe, he's relatively new. Yep.
Coming in, and he was doing some crazy things. I mean, like him crawling for his car keys, or I think it was his car keys.
His assistant scooter keys. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, it was the keys. They took the keys out of it.
It was the scooter.
Yes.
Yep, that's what it was. Him crawling for that. Him hitting like the mountain of chairs, or the everyone using his scooter. Him in the water.
Now, see,
there was a lot of things that he did.
I don't know if any other hosts have expressed this. I've got to say, I don't know if I'd say I'm mad. I wouldn't go so far as mad, but I'm something about that, because I was watching it live with everyone else. I can't remember if the Jesters chat was live or if I was just in main in the Discord. But that whole sequence where they took his keys, put it like, I think it was like 7 feet in front of his scooter. And up until that point, he couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. He was relatively chair bound, to the point that like in the Jester stream, and I'll give him credit for this. In the Jester stream, there were times that Turbo was there for like 6 hours solo by himself, like just responding to chat, doing things. Like he was very, very good on all of that. So I've got to give him huge props for that. But at that point, he was sitting in the chair, like I'll call it like committing to the thing. And then there was a whole sequence where like he went and got the keys. Boogie came over and gave him his cane chair
The walking stick
thing that he
yeah.
has.
Mhm.
And this was after I believe this was after the basketball game too, which was really cool content. I personally enjoyed the content of the basketball game where he ran into Nightmare in the Discord. There's actually like a sticker
Yeah.
that's saved where he just clobbers the shit out of Nightmare's ankles. So there was like all this great thing and like this wholesome, like, oh, he's going to make it. He's going to crawl for the keys. He's going to get up. And then later on, you figure out this motherfucker can walk. I'm like, dude. And like, there were so many people in all the chats and everything else that was like, people were like, why am I crying right now? This is the LCU. Fuck you guys. Right. Like they were like mad that they were feeling feelings and like all this thing. Boogie, you could tell was like, you know, to some extent feeling a thing. If you look in the background, Desi is bawling her fucking eyes out because like she was with Boogie. Well, I mean, she still is taking care of Boogie a lot. Right. But like you could tell for her, this was like the passing the cane thing was like, in a way, I don't know. To me, it felt very big and like it was a huge thing. It was early on Fat Camp too. And it was this huge freaking thing where you're like, Boogie is now good enough to like pretty much walk on his own places. If not, he'll get like a scooter for long distance. And this was like a weird like passing of the torch to me. And you're like, oh shit, Turbo's the next project. This is the new story. Like, I don't know what to call storyline, but like storyline of the success of a redemption in the LCU. Like it's going to be Turbo losing weight, getting, and I know Keem's still committed to that. And I'm not saying that that's not still a part, but to me, it's kind of shitty later on when Turbo's just like, and don't get me wrong, he's a big boy. He ain't going very far. But like, then you find out later on he can walk and you're like, the fuck, dude? Like to me, it's like, I don't know, it kind of shit on it a little bit for me. And I'm kind of pissed about that.
At least commit to the bid.
Yeah. And
2 weeks, commit to it.
And I know that he said like, yes, he got, and guys, I am going to read some of your chat stuff here in a bit, but I just want to go through this and cover it fully. Yeah, like, I don't know. To me, it kind of pissed me off because it was like, I even was like feeling some type of way about it, seeing all the hard work that they were starting to put into Turbo. And then he just like 2 days later, it's like walks over to the chair and you're like, oh, okay, well, fuck you then. Right. Yeah. So when Turbo gets the biggest start, Fat Camp 2, I would say the first few days in, yes. But that to me, like, I can't vote Turbo after that because he like, we got some feels and then he shit on them. And I'm like, nope, you shit on my feels. Fuck you.
I mean, everyone was saying Wonder Woman is the one who won Fat Camp. Because that last episode of Live where, you know, it was who stays on the little dock thing for the longest. And they all were like, we wanted to go to her and then got up at the same time and walked away. That I was sitting there and I was like, I'm getting emotional because I've never, like, that's not a side you really ever see to a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Especially like live. They're not ever really having like gushy, sweet moments.
Right.
It's them all fighting with each other. And it was like the sweet moment where they all like collectively agreed she deserves it. Like the difference between last year's Fat Camp and this year's, like she was just so unbelievably sweet the entire time. Even though she was doing things that people did not want to do, I never once heard her complain. And I know people were saying like, oh, it's so sad that she's doing all of this stuff for adults. And like what she had said to me, she enjoys doing these things. Like that's just what brings her joy. And I don't blame her. Like she gets her little like separation from Fat Camp where she can put her headphones on and just do what she does at home.
Now I've got to say the one day her cleaning up, I think it was the flour once it got soaked with water where she was cleaning up with the scraper. For a minute there, I was like, it was in the background of your, it was in the background of your episode where she was like crazy, like hyper focused scraping. And I was like, what's going on with Wonder Woman here? And I get why she was doing it. Like it needed to be clean because Steak posted a picture today in the Discord of what that set looked like on the floor. looks like a freaking barn in there. And Fupa today talking with Tech on, was it on Bus? Yeah, on Bus. So so today it's kind of going into this. I know I'm going a little bit in circles, but Fupa today on Bus was like, oh yeah, it was great. You know, you get to do your shows. Like, I'd never fuck up my house like this. Like, no, I'd never mess up my house. But it was great to be able to just do a show and then walk away because someone else would clean it. Yeah, that's almost word for word what she said. And Tech was like, Fupa, you do know that like I would go back, get a shower, and then come back and like try to help clean up some of that shit, right? Like, you do realize things didn't just, and I get other people were helping too, but he's like, you realize it didn't just happen, right? Like, there was people cleaning
people hired
that
to just clean.
And she's like, no, it was great. I would never mess up my house like that. Like, it was great to be able to just do whatever. And
I said that too so many times that I want to see what these people's houses look like. Because there's no way that they're treating their house like this. There's no way. But it's not their property. It's not my property. I can just mess it up.
Yeah. But that one, I mean, I know that Tech kind of, I get it, right? Like, right now, Tech has his issues with Amber because she is basically stonewalling everything. And I am going to read these. I'm still calculating on all that. Yeah, like, I get that right now. Amber has basically said that she's going to torpedo Bus if Tech's going to be on, because Tech got the highest, I think it was the biggest record number, and Keem posted the actual number. I want to say it was over 7,000 in a single 2-hour stream. Yeah, $7,407 and
broke LCU records.
6 gifted memberships, and I want to say it was like 30 new members. Like, they crushed it, and that was to keep Tech on. Now,
the craziest thing is $2,000 came in the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like the last 10 or 15 minutes of Keem being like, you're about to hit the record, and then being like, okay, we'll push this. And then it was nonstop, 100 after 100. Like, that was a crazy thing to be able to see in person, to be like, I'm watching an LCU record be broke right now.
Right, because they didn't even,
like, it proves too that they don't need Amberlyn Reed.
No, and
they still covered her.
Don't get me wrong. Was some of it like an F Amberlyn Reed? Don't know. I'm sure there were enough of them. But like you said, I don't know if you necessarily need her there to get that.
Nope.
And guys, I am seeing your chats. I'm taking the long way around on this one. Yeah, so some of them were clearly hate donos to Amberlyn about it. But hey, Tech is on for another month at this point, and Tech and Fupa have basically said, look, we're going to do the show. Show up or don't. Like, we're going to make this thing a success. And I know, you know, I've never seen like a thing of notes for Tech, but I've talked to him a little bit in the background. Like, I understand that he puts in work, and I've seen Amber just shoot ideas down before. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's just shooting down everything he ever comes up with. And that has to suck.
That's what he talked about in the Jester's room when Keem had called her. And this was all live. Like, Keem had called Amberlyn Reed and was like, what's your problems? And she's like, I can't do anything that I want to do. And then Tech was like, what are you talking about? Like, I put together a whole show that has nothing to do with you. And then you say, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Bus VC. No one cares about that. They could just join Bus VC. They don't care. Like, They really don't. We don't want to hear, oh, everyone was so sweet to you in Bus VC, but this one person was mean. Like, no one cares. You can't make 2 hours of content out of that.
Yeah.
And so it eventually becomes everyone's donating. I'm going to address these comments, and then we're going to shit on you because you don't want to do anything else.
Yeah. At that point, it's just, it is what it is. I do want to circle back to a few things that I had mentioned to you about her. but I do want to do more Fat Camp stuff.
Mhm.
I'm going to approach this grouped up. I'm going to say this up front. I am now at Lol Cow Fire. All right. I am actually super happy that I ended up with Abby here, because Lol Cow Jester, I spent a good amount of time in the chats. I helped make emoji for it, everything else. And everyone else was thinking like, oh, you guys are definitely getting that channel back. Guys, this is the LCU. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but 15 to 20 days is a crazy amount of time for the LCU. Like, even not being at Fat Camp, it felt like months at this point. And I'm sure for you, it was the same thing. I did all of that stuff, not out of expectation of necessarily getting that channel back. It was just out of, hey, this is one of the channels that's paying for the LCU to do Fat Camp. And I couldn't go there for the whole time. There was a chance that I could maybe go for a week. It didn't work out that way. So I did what I could to help on the other side. So that being said, I had no expectation of getting the channel back. I'm happy to have the channel with Abby here. And like I said, we're going to build on this because I've only had so much time to work on it today to even get what we had.
Yeah.
So we could start doing assets and things. When it comes to Fat Camp, I have thoughts on how some of the relationships and everything goes. I am going to be very cautious about the one with yourself and Ultra because I don't think it's a time for me to get into it much about it. Just because it's still a thing in progress. I do want to talk a little bit about the Phantom and Fupa one more than that. I'm going to say this, that as I talk about the Phantom and Fupa things, I am pretty universal in my thoughts across both of them. So I am going to kind of just sandwich them together as far as my thoughts of what happened for their stuff. And you might hear more from it later on about it. This isn't a sweep. This isn't anything else. It's just, I just got fired today. It's not that I don't want to speak about things. I've not been totally, I'm not sure where I can stand on that one yet, but I will give my thoughts as far as the Phantom and Fupa thing, and all of them are going to process over for everything else. So starting off, I was happy in some sense. Phantom's been a strong backbone for the entire LCU. He has carried shows 6, 10, 16 hours in a day sometimes in past things. I've jumped up on him when I could, helped when I could with it, or at least just been on there with him. I don't know how much I helped when I was newer. And then to see like someone liked him, even though it was in the LCU, was, I don't know, this, like it's a dude that's older. Like it's tough to just meet someone, right? So even though it was Fupa, who I'm like, I don't know about this, I was like, screw it. Let both of them have a bit of fun. Now, when you showed up, were both of them already there, or did Fupa get there after you?
She was already there. They both were.
Okay, so they were already in lovey-dovey mode.
Well, it was a little awkward at the beginning. It was a little bit awkward,
Okay.
But that's expected. It's the first time they're ever seeing each other like in person, so you could kind of tell it was like the still testing the waters phase where they're like, I know we've talked a bunch, but I'm still feeling out like what's going on,
Right, yeah, because
it did get really cute. It did.
Because they were, like talking with someone online or even video chatting, like it's only gonna get you so far, right? Like you don't know who the person is until you're with them. Oh, I'm getting an echo. Oh, okay, no big deal. Yep. So you're gonna, you're only gonna get the person as much as you can. That's fine. I'll just talk with them for now. So like I've never done the online thing per se, but I've met people in kind of like weird ways that you know, it's kind of like through a friend of a friend, and then, you know, kind of just half meeting them for a while. And then finally, when you spend some time, like a couple of them have been awesome. And then other ones you're like, oh, actually, yeah, you're good. I don't hear any, you know,
Okay,
after you talk with
perfect.
someone for a little
Sorry.
bit, like you go, oh, okay, no, I'm good. Right. And I guess some online friends that I've ended up meeting in person as well through the motorcycle side. And Genmark says, just because someone's nice to one person doesn't mean they are to everyone. There's a reason Phantom has been single for so long. He's a giant red flag, and we're going to talk more about Phantom. As far as the statement, Genmark, I've got to agree. And I saw something put out there earlier by one of the hosts that said something to the effect of like, just because you're helping, I can't remember how they worded it, but it was something to the effect of like, just because you're always helping doesn't mean you're likable. And that one actually hits me too, because when I was younger, I was kind of a piece of shit for I was a good person, but like I could be a piece of shit. But I was also the same type of person that I am now, where I was like, even if I was a piece of shit to someone, I would still help them out, right? Like one didn't translate with the other. And I had to learn that lesson in my teenage years, where it's like, okay, you're a good person here. You're helpful beyond like a normal level, but you're also kind of a piece of shit sometimes. And that's how I've gotten most of my best friends, is they were people that I was kind of a piece of shit to, and they were kind of a piece of shit to me, and we kind of learned together, right? But it was so crazy to hear that today, because I was like, oh yeah. And I'm not saying that Phantom was ever like, Phantom's been very good to me. He's been very good to other people, but like, I think there were things that were expected of him to do that, and I guess you could speak on this more, that maybe some people either felt he was bailing on, or like changing his attention,
Yes.
or like maybe agreeing with Fupa in ways that he wouldn't otherwise.
He
Cause
should
like
not.
he doesn't come off that way to me. And then when he got in the relationship, I was like, oh, who's this guy? So I guess, do you want to speak on that a little bit? I've been talking for a bit.
Well, I know that he was supposed to be in charge of like quite a few things at Fat Camp, but he was just like, he was gone. Like he had talked about, I forget which show it was on, but he was talking about how he's like done so much for Fat Camp. I never saw him unless I saw Fupa. If I saw Fupa, I knew Phantom was somewhere around. But like the TTS would be broken for a while, and Keem would be like,
Yes.
"Where is he?" And everyone would be like, "I don't know. I have no idea. He's still like over there with Fupa in their cabin, or like he's just gone getting her Whataburger French fries." Like he was just non-existent. And like I get it, like he does a lot for the LCU all the time, but he was at Fat Camp to do those things and to help. Like I can't do that. I can't go over there and be like, "Oh, this is the problem. I'll fix it for you." I have no idea how any of that works. And a lot of people just expected him to be the one to fix these problems, and he was gone. And like him sweeping for Fupa for everything. Like he was told multiple times, let her fight her own battles. Let
Right.
her speak up for herself, because he would just go off on someone when he had nothing to do with the conversation. And that made a lot of people mad, because they're like, I don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with her. Now I have a problem with you.
Right. Like he was absorbing some of her, heat,
Her
right?
punches.
There was talks of like the whole French fry thing, right? Like Phantom, I know it's something dumb, but it's like at the end of the day, you're kind of bringing the drug of choice to the addicts in the LCU. And look, I'm a huskier boy. I've seen some French fries from time to time, right? If someone was bringing in that kind of stuff when I was like at a specific like workout camp or something, I'm not saying I would break down right away. Like I do have more willpower probably than quite a few of the locals, but I'd also be like, shit, I really want some fries right now. Right? Because like everyone likes fries.
It's like everyone is in here doing the right thing. Where like I know people were like, oh, y'all like eating fast food the whole time. I didn't once. I'm 2 weeks. I didn't once.
Right.
Like,
Not of anyone. You could have just lived on French fries and been fine. Yeah.
Yep.
No, that kind of
And-
that kind of I think what it is for a lot of the LCU and maybe even some of the hosts is like Phantom has been the backbone, and I know that, you know, there's some criticism sometimes of like, oh, he runs this, you know, he talks a little slower, but there's always been like little things or like little arguments with him, but no one's ever really had a problem because his helpfulness, and again, this is an issue that I'm still working on and learning, his helpfulness maybe masked or outweighed any issues because when you're helping, you don't have enough time to stir the pot. And I think, unfortunately, the weirdness of the relationship of Fupa, Phantom, you know, some of him kind of like puppy dogging behind her the whole time, which was kind of a strange thing to see. Like, he has a big heart, which was part of it, but it came off a little too crazy, too weird, right? And everyone's like, whoa, what's going on?
And a little too clingy, too fast.
And sometimes I think kindness can be mistaken for like feelings. And
Yeah.
even though they were, I guess we'll call a situationship, there's a point where you're like, hey, we just met, chill.
Yeah. And Fupa had done that multiple times. That was the problem, is she kept asking, not even just like drawing a hard line, but just being like, give me a little bit of space. And he couldn't do it because he'd be like, she's leaving me on red. She's not answering me. And it's like, she literally just told you to give her space. You're doing the exact opposite. Back off a little bit. Like, I get that you only have this set amount of time at Fat Camp, but also respect her wishes. Because you will just completely run her away forever. She, like, no woman, and this is speaking on both things, no woman wants to say, I'm uncomfortable, and then the man not care at all. That is, like, the biggest red flag for a woman, to be like, you don't respect, like, my wishes, my consent in situations. Like, you're scary. Like, that's a scary situation for a woman to be in.
Yeah.
That's the nicest way I'm gonna put it.
Yeah.
That's a nice way.
I have had the, I don't know if I'd want to call it luck, whatever, the circumstances in life that I have always been good friends with like one or multiple, well, I would say objectively like beautiful women. And it wasn't out of like seeking them out or whatever. Like, you know, some of them are just like friends of friends, or they were part of the friend group, or just, you know, throughout time, whatever else. And it's so weird as someone that never had that part of, like, never really had a lot of that like chasing after thing, to see it happen as a person kind of standing next to them. Cause it's like, weirdly, you get one, I will say this, going out and about, I get treated way better as a person when I'm standing next to someone that looks good than, and I'm not saying I'm ugly, but like when you go out with a nice looking woman, I get treated way better. I get free stuff. You get let in the door, things like that. But I also get to see like all the people that show up and they're like, oh, hey, I'm just a nice guy here doing something. And then you're like, okay, cool. And then like a couple more things happen. Eventually you're like, you're kind of hanging out a lot and nobody knows you. What are you doing here? And then you're like, oh, this person's like, I, as a dude, don't get that. Right. So then I'm like, oh, they're starting to be, and then you kind of give them the like, oh, hey, thanks, man. But like, we're going to go do this other thing, you know, cause we already had something planned. And as someone who's more than capable of enforcing it, I'll give the once, twice, three times. But there's been times out at bars where like on the second or third time, they've just straight up tried like groping someone that I was with. And then it goes, oh no, here you go. Pick you up by your feet, bounce your head down the stairwell. Like, I will remove you. Fuck you. You're being a creep. And I'm not saying that's most of them, but like, I got a weird perspective as a dude that I don't think a lot of guys get, because I've been around a lot of women like that. And it's so weird to see as a guy from like the inside. And so when I start seeing that, it kind of it gives me the ick, and the ick has been brought up as a thing that guys, ladies, everyone, when the ick comes, the ick never leaves. If you've been told you are a haver of the ick, I'm so sorry to inform you, but your time has come. Now you may be able to maintain some platonic whatever, but you've caught the ick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's terminal.
There is no more.
No cure.
There may be some way to get out of it, but I'll tell you this, you will be able to get out of 20 other friend zones before you get out of the ick, because the ick is irredeemable. I've been the guy that's given the ick before. Trust me, I know. And you're like, oh no, it's probably just, it's not. It's not. I'm here to tell you it's not. If you've given the ick, you've given the ick. Abby?
You're not wrong at all. From a woman's perspective, you are not wrong. There's been times where I've like really had fun with a person and been like, I like this person. One thing. And I'm like, no, any progress that's been made, gone, done. Like that sucks. And it sucks to be in that situation. And I've tried working on it and been being like, okay, like we can fix this. No, because it will consistently keep coming back. Your brain will keep thinking about it, and then you'll start picking up on other things. And you'll go, I never noticed this. Now I am. And this is, for the other situation too. So I see people getting like upset, and I was not upset about that situation because of my boyfriend. I am a grown woman who can make my own decisions about things. Okay. My boyfriend actually, like, he didn't know all of the details of what was going on because I thought it had been handled.
Right.
And like, I don't want to go too much into it because I really do feel like it was handled at Fat Camp. I got everything I wanted to say out.
Yeah.
And it was dealt with. And the good thing is Keem and like everyone, when the moment that I said, this is bothering me, week 1, they immediately hopped on it and they dealt with it the way that they thought they dealt with it. And I have respect for them to be able to go, okay, I'm hosting an event and this person is doing weird things and making a woman uncomfortable. I'm gonna done now. And for them to recognize, okay, it's not being fixed. You just can't do it. You can't handle it. And if it's an age thing, then it's an age thing, or like a experience thing, then that's what it is. But it's not anyone else's problem, but his. So you just can't be here.
I mean, looping it back a little bit too, to pull out of the nosedive a little bit. Apparently age doesn't matter, right? Because Fupa, as a grown woman, was kind of did the same thing. Now I get the situation's different, obviously, but she was like, hey, maybe no for a while. And it didn't really catch. And like, it really sucks because I could tell at the end of the day, like he really cared for her, and whether she did or not, I don't know. I'm half in the camp that like she used it as a way to get to Fat Camp. And then whatever the final thing was, like trying to get some of her bag. Hey, if you can convince someone to do that, I don't think it's right, but so be it. People do it every day. And if she wanted to be transactional, then be transactional, I guess. But like, there's a certain point where you just have to let it go. And, I don't think he could. And it's unfortunate because I think Phantom could have had a far better time at Fat Camp for whatever amount of like love thing he had, which I know what that feels like that's intoxicating in its own. Ooh, bad word to use, but, or whatever, like, bad timing on the word. However intoxicating that word that is, I think the enjoyment of the people that he could have spent time with would have been better. And that's the unfortunate part. It's like there's a loss 100%. In that side of things. And
he would have
I would say same
with
for you.
People and yes,
there's times you probably could have interacted with people more.
My last day, I like was able to go out. I could sit wherever I wanted. I wasn't like thinking about where I'm sitting and like who's in this room and like it. And that sucks. Like that genuinely sucks. And I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time separated from people.
Yeah.
I would have had a more enjoyable time, but again, it's whatever. I overall, I had a good time. That's all that matters is overall, it was a very good learning experience. It was a very good, like, They learned how things happen in the background, how much work goes into an event like this, how much work goes into just making sure a stream is running, especially to that level with that amount of equipment. Like I know people at home don't have like $10,000 cameras and all this fancy stuff, but I mean, they still have to make sure all of that is running, and like even just their normal cameras at home, like all of that, you have to make sure all that's running while still putting on a show. There's not like at Fat Camp, you had someone sitting over there and making sure all of that was working. Fully separated from the show. No, you don't have that.
It's just you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna switch gears because the chat be chatting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Billy.
I see that.
So I'm gonna start it farther back. As much as like Wonder Woman basically caught the W's and things, I think the whole start of that. So you had said Glammy. Let's be honest. I think some of it is she gets nervous a lot. And don't get me wrong. Like I've had times in the past where you're like, oh, I'm going to have a couple drinks before I go out and do something. Cause you're just like, I don't know. Right. And you even said like when you show up to Fat Camp at first, you're just like, what am I doing here? Right. Like I've done some of those trips where you just show up and you're like, oh, why did I say yes to this? Like, I don't know anyone here. And then eventually you get out and you go. But like some people will, hit a blinker beforehand or whatever, whatever their thing is to like, and then go. There's a lot of people also overdo it and then don't realize that they're sabotaging the very thing that would allow them to integrate more. So they did the stream with the pies. It was already a mess. Glammy had fought with Wonder Woman already, to the point that like Steak picked up Wonder Woman while she was like dinosaur mode. Glammy got pulled by, I don't remember who grabbed her.
Someone else on live, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Nightmare? Yeah, it was Nightmare because she like tried ninja sidekicking him very drunkenly.
He ended up getting like catching an elbow.
Yep. And Nightmare was kind of like, I won't hit you, but I kind of want to right now. Right. Like he was like, you got to stop hitting me. Like I'm just trying to break this up. And then Gangster Glammy sits on the table. And again, guys, in the Discord, there are a whole bunch of stickers with Glammy making crazy faces where she's like, like just.
Yeah.
I would call it aura farming. I don't know if that's really the best term for it. But crazy aura farming. Yeah. I guess. And Jen Mark said Glammy and Nightmare tension started before Wonder Woman came through. Glammy came out shit stirring first. 100%.
That's all she did.
I guess Dave was off to the side that night and kind of maybe just let it play out, recognizing that at some point that spring had to uncoil. I don't know if I would have as a significant other, but also like this spring has been pulled so far back that I think at some point you have to I don't know. I am of the type that to some extent, like you don't let your significant other get hurt, but sometimes it's like, look, you got to do you. I'll be here to make sure like it doesn't go too far, but like, this is a you problem right now. And I will be here to support you, but like, but so that whole initial part, I won't say it's fine, but it was expected. I think the Wonder Woman Glammy matchup had to come to a head. They got through it. They were doing pies. Everyone was a mess. Steak was sliding around, having a fun time. And then Glammy comes out kind of when things are winding down and brings a bottle of ranch out, which I think they were making a couple pies, maybe with mayonnaise or ranch. Is that where that came from?
They were, well, yeah. So the chat could donate to have like nasty toppings put in the inside of it.
Yeah.
And so you're not just getting a pie to the face. You're getting sprinkles, chocolate syrup, and mayo.
Okay.
And I think it was so the fats didn't, because they were eating it a bunch, and Keem was probably like, you're not allowed to do that.
I didn't even think of that.
Turbo was over there grabbing chunks and eating it, and he did it with the mayo pie, and he was like, ew, it's gross. That's the point. You're not supposed to be eating it.
Yeah, okay. So that actually makes sense. It's a fatty prevention method. Okay. So they were I didn't even think of that. So they were doing that. And Glammy comes through with the ranch bottle. Now, granted, was all that furniture probably fucked or like severely needing of washing? Yeah, of course. But ranch by itself, anytime ranch touches something, forget about it. So she's just like stepping over the back of all the cushions, dumping shit across like 3 or 4
Stepping on people.
Yeah, just on people, which like I know that everyone that was there or whoever was there agreed to like have whatever, but you're also not agreeing to just be like, well, at some point, you know, like I'm catching this, but it's like, it's for a thing, right? It's not always like, oh, money hunt. Like it was content, but at some point, like, why are you doing this for free, like for free, right? And then like, who are you out of anyone to be the one that's doing it? Like, I think it would have been different if it was, I don't even know, like Keem's going to be able to do it, right? Or like maybe Brantley, but I couldn't see her doing that.
No.
But like if a Nightmare or Steak did it, there could have been a reaction, could have not, to various people. But it would have been like they would have picked someone that they were like, oh, I know I'm cool with you, right? Like if Steak did it to Nightmare, Nightmare did it to Steak.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, F you, whatever, no big deal.
But, like, why did she do that? Like that's like why?
Yeah.
You just out of nowhere grab it and climb on people's backs. Because I know that was like everyone's biggest problem was the fact she was literally stepping on people.
Yeah.
And like she couldn't even walk on solid ground without falling. She fell so many times, like off camera. We were in the back and she was just standing there and she managed to fall in like somersault backwards twice. Never seen anyone do that. But she's just standing there. Like she's so fucked up all the time to where I don't know.
So I'm going to say this. I think it's difficult because of who it was. I think at some point it was on someone. I've dealt with a lot of drunk people, both women and men at places. I've never been like an official bouncer, but like it's some of the barn parties and things. I'd be an unofficial bouncer-ish type person to be like, all right, you need to sit down and have a water for 10 minutes. I think it was on someone to maybe recognize for Glammy. It was time for her to sit down and have water for a couple seconds. But like, we're all adults there, right? Everyone's having fun. So it's hard to recognize fun and then like, oh, maybe pass the line of like drunk, stupid. She started going across. The first people didn't even know what was going on. Like, what the fuck? Billy wasn't really paying attention, but like kind of noticed. And here's what I'm going to say. Billy was 100% wrong for what happened. Glammy was 100% wrong for the capacity that she was for what happened. If someone would have noticed earlier or could have gotten there, I'm assuming any one of them been, English is hard. Any one of them would have been like, oh, we need to stop this.
Yeah. Yes.
But I'll say this, and the unfortunate part is Glammy, I think, was too gone at that point to be not held responsible, but like she has a diminished capacity. Can we say that at the rate that she was? But Billy has exhibited in the past, like, if I say you can do something to my body, cool. Like we're down, right? Like whatever the thing is, if the pie smash or whatever it is. But he has always been pretty direct about like, and not just the generic don't fuck with me, but like you can only do what I allow you to do to me kind of vibe. And he's been very strong and aggressive about that. Was Glammy diminished and fucked up at the time? Yes. But as someone who's dealt with him for a long time, like I've only worked with Billy a little bit, and I know that like I would not go up to Billy and even like poke him in the side because I'd expect that. Like I kind of have a little bit of that reaction when I was younger too. Like don't fucking touch me, right? Like I had that like don't touch me thing. I've gotten over that over time. Billy has not. And fuck it, you're allowed to have that, right? So for her to come over and do that, like was it something mundane? Yes. But I'm sorry to say, chat, I'm going to say this. If you put out the strong vibe all the time of like, ask first, and then that doesn't happen, that initial reaction, I never hold someone fully responsible for. The initial reaction of just the like, get away, push, punch, whatever it is. because that to me is like subconscious level, almost subconscious level thing. And so to me, this whole like first part, and also she was like falling on top, breaking glass with her foot, whatever. I don't know if I'm going to go with like the full way that it was explained. She was falling. She was kicking glass, whatever thing. She almost went through the window, but I'm going to give that initial like grab thing. I don't know if I'd call it a pass, but like that's a subconscious thing. And the balling of the fist, I'm going to include as part of that.
Yeah.
Up to the point that he was, and I'm sorry, he wasn't choking her.
No.
I don't know what kind of lives you guys have lived. I've seen people get choked before and I've seen people get held. That was
it's an immediate,
that was a
like,
wrong spot
I'm
to be
grabbing.
pressing. That was a wrong spot to have your hand. But I'm including that in subconscious. The minute that he did that and hauled it, and he goes, that's where it's conscious to me. And he probably should have gone, oh, fuck, and then pulled his hand off. But he was pissed. And so him saying, I'm going to fuck you up or kill, one of the two. I'm going to, whatever that thing at that point.
I'm going to fucking.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You. I think that's what it was. I
don't think any of that was serious. And I don't think anyone that's being realistic can say that that's serious. But that one was set out of anger. I would say coming out of subconscious into consciously. That one is where I'm like, oh, you should know you're on camera. You're experienced. Like if we're going to hold the experienced enough for other things, the inexperienced, experienced argument, I'm going to hold it there. At that point, from that first part going down and hold, she needed to be controlled. She was out of control. Now, was that the way to do it?
Yes.
No, it was not.
Also,
and if she was coming face to face,
grabbed her like at all, she would have ended up fully tumbling off the couch into broken glass.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it was bad what he did, but also there's a little bit of silver lining where at least she didn't face plant into the broken glass everywhere, because she would have. Like,
yeah,
she would have.
So it was a hold down that like I wouldn't agree with, and if it was her coming face to face and he was just like boom, then I would have been like, nah, you're gone. But this is like over the back reaction. That part, I'm sorry, that's like subconscious to me. But the statement after, now I'm going to say this, and he's probably not going to be super cool with it. But when he did the like, oh, I'm allergic to ranch, I'm a blue cheese guy, that was the, oh, fuck. I need an exit point, and I need to acknowledge. I'm sorry. When you have that, like, from whatever I can tell, there's like that don't touch me. There's like a severe reaction to the don't touch me thing. And I understand the anger there. And that was the, oh, fuck, I need to get out of, like, some shit went down. I exit, right? And Billy can't get up and run away from it and just like go off camera and be like, I need to go off camera. Billy standing up is a hard task for him right now. He's also probably very amped up in that moment, and he has his heart monitor. So his exit is going to have to be a verbal one. I don't agree with what happened, but I also don't agree, you want to talk some shit? How about the 10 other people that were there that never recognized that maybe Glammy was a little too fucked up and had to have a little nappy time, have some tummy time, as they say. So I'm kind of right down the middle with it.
It's hard to recognize that, though. With Glammy, she's always like almost on that line.
Right.
That's part of the problem, is she's like constantly teetering from like, oh, she's okay, to like, oh, like this is too much. And so that's why it's hard to handle her. I will say, though, after all of that happened, Glammy was like, we were sitting at the fire pit, and we were talking about the whole Discord being like, dude, he's canceled. Like, there's no coming back from this. He's canceled. Get him off. Kick him out of Fat Camp. And she was so upset about that, because she was like, well, why don't they care about my opinion? Like, I don't care. I'm the one who experienced it. I don't care. Like, I shouldn't have done that. I recognize I shouldn't have climbed on top of him, and like, I probably scared him, and I poured ranch on him, and he didn't like that, and I shouldn't have done that. And like, I know she's ditzy, and like most of the things she says, I'm just like, whatever. But she was genuinely upset about him getting in trouble for that. And I don't know. I do think her perspective is important. Like, I wouldn't want someone speaking for me. I'm grown. I'm an adult.
Right.
I can make my own decisions about things. And the same goes for her. If that was her viewpoint, is that he shouldn't get in trouble for this at all. I messed up. He shouldn't have done that, but it's not as severe as people are saying. Because he didn't choke her out. That, like, I've seen people saying that, like, he choked her out. No, she didn't. No, he didn't.
And I'm looking at the chat too, and I agree. There's choking out, all these other things. I'm sorry, that was like more of a hold down. Again, I've had to stop severely aggressive, coked out people that are drunk and whatever, and I've had to, normally would you, like, if you had the chance, again, face to face, like kind of stern him then against something? Yeah, 100%. Again, I think he just grabbed it, whatever, was like off and stop. Like, I need this to stop. It wasn't the right way to do it, but it also wasn't choking. I'm sorry. I'm not going to agree that it was choking. It was hand at neck. It is what it is. I'm not going to agree. Everything that happened after that was a decision, 100%. But before then, yeah, I'm going to go with that. And like you said, we can spin this all day. I'm not going to spin it any more than that. I was asked to cover it. That's where my thoughts land on it. It was shit all around. And what sucks is it was shit on something that was super fun. Like, that was a super fun event.
I know.
That got shit on at the end because of poor decisions all around and maybe people having too many and whatever else. But I don't think it should also tarnish that event. Like, that event was super cool. There was, up until then, there was a lot of complaints of like, oh, how come there was only so many in the what'd you call it? Like the studio area? Like they then did a back deck one and they had a great camera shot and it was lined like Grim. I think it was Grim that set that up. Like, it was a great camera shots and there was angles and there was Keem zooming by with the scooter the day before. Like, there was all that stuff. And then what happens when you get a bunch of locals in the same spot and then add alcohol and ridiculousness and not everyone knows how to meter their fun? This is what you get. I'm sorry to tell you guys. I don't know how many of you have gotten out in the world, but there's always going to be someone that goes a little too far and maybe does a little bit of wrong and then maybe gets addressed a little too wrong. And if all of them the next day do this, I'm not even taking them at face value, but you have to, because what are you going to do? You're going to step in for someone else? Go ahead, be the cops, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. There's been plenty of people that have come back the next day with black eyes to help pick up beer cans at one of the barn burners that we've done. Look, shit happens. I didn't like it.
And you go, oh.
But I wasn't there to pull her away early on and say, have a water.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
And her husband is probably one of the few people who can recognize when, okay, it's too far. But he was always around close enough to where if he was called for, he would immediately be able to show up. Like, he was within earshot of what was happening, but he was backed off enough to where it didn't seem like he was hovering over her constantly. Because, again, like, no one would like that. People would have definitely talked about, like, oh, like, why, like, do you not trust your wife to be able to be at this event? Like, why are you hovering so much? He was very nice though. That episode with Glammy, when I went outside and was like laying on the ground, he immediately came over with water for me and was like, drink this. Like, you need it.
Yes.
So he can recognize when someone has like maybe drank too much or maybe is just like really mad or they're it's just I had good conversations with him.
Well, I even said too, like, I messaged Foxy Mama and actually Wonder Woman, but she was like obsessively scraping to just be like, hey, can someone at least make sure Abby like gets back? Like, I didn't want you just like wandering in the woods screaming to the moon too long. And so like Foxy said, she's like, yeah, I think she's like either just outside or just going. So like she even while, cause she was actively producing that one or helping produce that one, even said, she's like, yeah. Like she's she's making it back fine.
Yeah, I was where she could still see me.
Yeah.
I was like right outside the glass doors, and then the chubby girls had pulled up right as that was happening, and I ended up sticking around a little bit longer because they pulled up, and They probably could tell what was happening. Like, I lasted longer than I thought I did. After that first 45 minutes where I think I got 3 words in, I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I think I messed up when I said this will be the Glammy show. That's where I messed up. Don't ever tell Glammy it'll be the Glammy show, because then it will just be,
Yeah, no. And
screw your mama.
And yeah, I mean the end bit of that, which is one of the clips that I had here, is kind of the final result of that for the moment. Let me just pull it up here.
I haven't watched back that episode. Probably should.
Yeah, so this is just the end bit about Glammy afterward. Let me share my screen with you here real quick. And where is it? One second. There we go. You got it?
Yes.
It's the plunger. She has told us that she had a full mental breakdown and that she's going home. I said, well, then I'm going to leave it up to Rewind on whether or not to fire you.
I'm voting no.
I don't think it's my position to fire her. That's you. That's a you thing, boss. Like, I'm going to say no. That's not my position.
Glammy, as of now, you're fired.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Well, I mean,
Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
that's kind of crazy. I did not expect that, ladies and gentlemen.
You guys, as Keemstar, how about a second chance? Everyone else gets one. Can we get a second chance for Glammy?
Glammy's had like 18,000 chances. Let's be
I was
Can
about
we
to
get
say-
a 19th chance for Glammy?
Now
Fucking
here-
read my mind. That is not a second chance. That is a 40th chance.
Agreed. But here is like days removed. Now, yes, number of chances, I agree. But dunking on the top of that, that's one thing recently that I think a lot of people, including some of the people in the chat of the double dunking, have been having an issue with Billy. And I am so curious to see how Billy does on shows coming up, because that is where the problems have been with Billy more than anything. And I know that there's still opinions about the what ifs and everything else. Again, I'm not I'm not going to arbitrate it any farther. There's only so many I think there's wrong on all sides on this. And look, if I was Dave, my answer would be far different than if I was the person that got the first thing a ranch on me versus if I was, you know, in Billy's shoes. You know, as a significant other at that point, would I have probably freaked out a bit more? Yeah, sure. Yeah. But I also, as the significant other, would have recognized my partner, knowing them long enough, and been like, hey, you got to have a drink of water. Like, we don't have to leave, but you can't be like, I have stopped people that I've been friends with and been like, you're a bit too much right now. Let's sit down for 20 minutes, right? Because I could see the escalation. So like, you can have the reaction of like, oh, he should have done more. Or this should have stopped. Or that should, everyone was wrong. Sorry. It was the end of the party. The shop should have closed 20 minutes before it did, and it didn't. Billy doubling down on it. And like, I get it. He's having a reaction, but like, that kind of involved you too, like a little bit, like part of it. I'm not cool with that. He probably should have shut the fuck up right there. And he has the mic, and I know he might even take this and you know, lambaste me about it. But there's sometimes that you need to shut the fuck up, and that maybe was one of them, and just been like, oh shit, and then just ended it and not like ha-ha'd it. Sorry. But ha-ha'ing on top of that in that specific situation, I would not have done. I would have kind of just shut the fuck up on that one, because there's
Yeah,
plenty of
that's a
dunks that Billy
situation you
has
wanna-
available, and that was not one of them.
It's a situation you want to back away from. You
Yeah.
want as much distance as possible
And
from that. Like,
Turbo,
you can make your statement, but
same thing. Like, sorry, Turbo, but like, I've not even been here long enough to like sit there and dance on someone's grave. Actually, no, that's wrong. I'm going to change the topic slightly for just a moment. Fuck you, Iceman. As far as I'm concerned, I think maybe
he's gone.
maybe you're actually gone. Can we have like some high fives in the chat at least for that? I know that you guys have disagreed with me and had some arguments in here, but can we at least say
We should all agree on
fuck
that.
Iceman, and hopefully he is gone full time. Fuck you, Iceman. Goodbye.
They didn't really have very many redeeming qualities. That's the problem. Is like, if at least not even honestly, what he did, like he would have had to do something crazy to redeem himself. Like, all right, Keem, I need a break from the LCU. I need sex therapy. I need like inpatient sex therapy. Like, and then maybe after that, maybe he could be here. But he proved that the power that he received in the LCU, which wasn't really power, he just said, I'll talk to Keem. He
Right.
used Keem's power to do nasty things. So he's unredeemable. Like, you're just you're a predator. Like, I know that word is usually used for specific people, but he is a sexual predator. Like,
yeah, to
he's
whatever
a deviant.
to whatever degree it is. Yeah, he taking advantage of of people as far as, is it in person? No. Like, I'm not going to put
No.
that on him because I have nothing to say otherwise. But like, there is a weaponization of the opportunities you have that other people would never take that he continued to. And like, yeah, did he do some great IRL stuff up front? 100%. There's no denying that he came up through like a rocket. But when he got to the top the first time, Keem ended the live because he got the ick. We're circling all the way back to the ick. You want to talk about the ick? Iceman is the fucking walking ick. And do you know why the rest of you guys don't fuck with Iceman? There's the prime example of the ick, is because he gave you guys the ick. And no matter what he tried to do to redeem it, some of us were like, he's got the ick, but like, I don't know, he is content and there were some things that were fun. And don't get me wrong, like I, to some extent, still wanted him to do good and everything else for quite a while until he did certain things where I was just like, I can't fuck with him anymore. He has got to go.
That.
He is a menace. Like you said, he was like predating on people in digitally, but predating on people, like, sorry, dude, you need to go. And so I'm happy to see that firing happen. If Fat Camp did nothing else, firing Iceman, it was worth it.
Thank God. Finally. Took long enough. I don't know why during Fat Camp. Did he do something extra during Fat Camp, or was Keem just finally like, I'm sick of it, whatever?
I know his like probationary period was supposed to be to the first, ironically enough, and it's been said on live, so I'm not saying anything outside of it. As far as I'm aware, his like actual probationary period for himself, like legally, was ending on the first, ironically enough. Because that was, let's be honest, that wasn't the only reason, but that was one of the reasons he couldn't make it to Fat Camp. Because he wasn't allowed to come. And again, I'm not saying anything behind the scenes. He's said it on his own streams and things. So I'll say this. I hope for whatever his issues were on that side are taken care of and done, because that's a whole different type of mess. I don't wish the legal system to be looming over anyone if that issue is sewn up. But that being said, the LCU is not here to babysit someone that's not doing work on themselves, and they're not here to protect someone that isn't willing to change. However many issues happen at Fat Camp, I think everyone, or at least as far as I can tell, everyone is willing to make changes or listen to criticisms at least. And he was not. So the minute that he stopped is the minute that I was like, yep, I'm good on you.
Good riddance.
Yep.
Good riddance.
So I hope at least
No,
for
I
that
don't
you
know.
guys can agree.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. It sucks. It sucks not having the Grays. I
know.
wish we could have made a goal today for it, because not being able to unleash you guys. Keem was driving today. The availability of getting stuff switched over was just not there today. But yeah, when we get back in, I am going to make sure that we can release the Grays, because that's been one of my favorite things, is having a good responsive chat. Now you guys have been pretty good today, all things considered. Genmark, Naughty, Ice Coffee Girl, and who else? There was someone else in here. Zach
Ian
as well,
Bennett.
and Alex Jones, and
And
Leo.
Zach.
Yeah, you guys have been great for hearing, but I get it. There's only so many people here as far as the greens are concerned. We're gonna work on building that up and start doing something new and different tomorrow. There might still be some repercussions that come up for Fat Camp, but today was kind of just for everyone, it was a bit of a decompression off of Fat Camp, and I did want to get Abby's perspectives on things some. Abby, anything else
And my
at
brain
Fat Camp
hasn't
for
recovered.
you that stood out that maybe people didn't get to see that you can say?
Everyone was so nice. Everyone was so nice. I was so surprised by that. And I've said that a couple times, but I was just blown away. I was really expecting everyone to be so super reserved and kept to themselves, but no. The moment anyone came in for the first time, it was a warm welcome from everybody. Everyone coming over and hugging you, and it was so nice. And then when I left, it was the same thing of everyone, I'd walk up and be like, okay, bye. Cause I hate saying bye. I hate doing that. I wanted to pull a Gidgey and just Irish goodbye, but I waited for everyone to show up because they were all gone. So I waited, and everyone was like, no, give me a hug. I'll see you on the internet. And it was all very sweet. I don't know. I didn't have any experiences where I was like, man, this sucks. I don't know. I don't know if I want to, I don't know. Overall, I had a very good time. Overall, the majority of the people were very kind, very sweet. Very glad that I went. It was very difficult leaving my significant other, leaving my kid. He was he didn't know who I was. It was probably the worst part of Fat Camp, because when I walked in yesterday, and he immediately ran to Dad and was holding on to his leg, and I was like, I made a mistake. It's better today, but
that's even something you see. I've seen videos of, and yeah, guys, I do not have any back end access to the channel today, unfortunately. Actually, I'm going to ask Abby this question, but I'm going to kind of preempt it, and you can think of it while I'm talking as well. Someone that you would say should not be invited next time, and I want both the chat and Abby to think on this one while I'm also going to go through it. Someone that you'd say you don't want to go that did go. Yeah, we're going to make it a little spicy at the end. That being said, though, the kid thing is kind of funny, because I love seeing the videos where it's the dad shaves his beard, and then the kid freaks out because you I think you said your child's pretty young, right? So object permanence is a little bit not there
just
yet.
A new thing.
Where they
That's
kind of
a brand new thing.
Yeah, so they're still oh right, even for short periods of time, if you change something, and I'm sure when you came back, you were just hair up or whatever, you just kind of meh. So I'm sure first coming home too was just what, and then kind of figuring it out again. So, but it's good to hear that it's all better now.
It's okay today. Yeah, it's a little bit better today. I mean, he was watching streams so he could see me, and he'd be like, mama, mama. But he my boyfriend would call me, and I'd hear him in the background crying, saying mama. I'm like, I'll come over right now.
Yeah.
I'll go get my card. I'll come over right now. But after the first week, it seemed like he didn't really care anymore. He was just like, oh, she's gone. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care about that lady.
Yeah. Kids are, a lot of my friends' kids are kind of in that range of newborn up to like 5 and 6 right now. So like I get the weird perspective of like a whole bunch of stages of them. But yeah, it's interesting to see like the different points where it's like sometimes they don't care if anyone's there, and other times they're like they could be standing next to you and they're screaming for you, and you're like, I'm here, look up, and then they're like, oh yeah, okay. So like when they're little enough, it's I don't know. I'm not saying it's whatever, but like sometimes just it is what it is. They're little
It will
forming brains. So the tough question, and I haven't seen chat answer any of them yet. Who would you pick to remove from Fat Camp? And I'm actually still thinking of it myself a little bit. Oh, actually, I know.
Oh.
I'm thinking of someone that didn't contribute, but I also don't want to
Oh.
poison the well.
I will say,
Would
I
you?
feel like if you didn't have a show while you were at Fat Camp,
Mm-hmm.
but if you would have put in a lot of effort for other shows, like,
True.
no, I don't know. I feel like if you don't have a show, maybe you don't need to be there. Maybe, unless you're like, oh, I'm going to produce the whole time, or I'm going
Right.
to just be making sure everything runs smoothly in the background. Then yes, I do think that's good. Or if you show up and then your show is like blown up. Like if you have an experience like me where it's like, okay, well, like with Wonder Woman, if she's going up against live. So if all of her co-hosts would have just quit while she's there, I wouldn't have blamed her for just being like, I'm not going up against live. I don't get a studio. I'm doing this from home. I have no one to run OBS. Like that would be a situation where it's just like, whatever, you know, you don't have to go home. You're already here.
I
feel like that's saying it without saying it.
I'm kind of yes-anding it, but I'm going to say specifically, and this is probably not going to be a popular opinion, or maybe it is, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you did have a show and you had the opportunity to do the show and you showed up to Fat Camp to do things, and then all you did was like cause a weird type of havoc and then intentionally not show up for your show, Lila.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot that she was even ever at Fat Camp. Yeah.
Right. You forgot she was there because
I
she
saw
was
her
on screen,
twice.
what, 3 or 4 times? And I'm so sorry to maybe a brand new audience, and this might be shooting myself squarely in the foot, and I understand that. But as someone who was like, I don't get a chance to watch, I didn't get a chance to watch Fire for quite a while because my show was opposite of it, Jesters.
Yep.
But I enjoyed some of the stuff they had done in the past. And then to like see like Abby or a few other people mix in with like groups that they normally don't interact, and then be like, well, where's this person? Well, where's this person? Well, where's this? And then eventually you're like, why are they there? And then at a certain point you're like, then they should just leave. And that's kind of how I felt.
Yeah.
And I understand I'm on the channel of the person that was one of the hosts. And like I said, I'm sorry if this shoots me in the foot, but to me, you're only as good as like your last thing or two that you're doing. And I know that can bite me sometimes too, but you know, today, again, we were trying to just getting started. We just kind of got things. We only have so much access, but like to me, Lila almost felt like she was intentionally trying not to show up. And I don't know if there was some reason that she was like trying to like shoot the show in the foot.
Well,
she was mad about something. Like, I don't know what the reasoning was.
It really felt like she did not want to quit. Like she didn't want to be seen as a quitter, but she was like not even soft she was hard exiting. And you know, was waiting for the, hey, you don't show up, because she wasn't showing up prior to Fat Camp. Like she wouldn't show up to shows. And if she did, it would be an hour into it or 30 minutes left of the show. And she'd be like, so what are you talking about? And it's like, I'm not doing that. No, we are not backtracking the last hour and a half of the content.
Right.
For the last 30 minutes, we're not doing that. Just watch the show back at that point.
Right. Like be a viewer then, and then come back when you're ready to talk. Yeah.
rolling her eyes at everything we were doing, like the steak episode where I'm crying. She showed up to that one. Okay. I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm crying. And after steak leaves, she's like, I could have gotten an extra hour of sleep. I didn't need to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That for me too.
Well, screw you too. Screw you too. It's like, what a great co-host. I'm not saying you have to fight my battles for me.
No.
But at least have the respect to be like, that sucked. Shit, sorry.
Right. Or
let's
haha,
pivot.
you got smacked on, like, sucks to be you. Like,
yes.
I'm not saying that, like,
Add
you don't always
something.
have to stick up for your co-host either. If you truly think they got shot down and they deserved it, you're like, yeah, you kind of earned that, right? Like, you can even say something like that, but just being like, why am I here? I don't know. Why are you here?
I didn't know either. Good riddance to her too. I don't know.
And from the chat,
it was exhausting.
One of them, and this is all from Jen MK. Billy took too long to get there, seemed to be struggling with his health and not really participating the same way as the first one. Yeah, Billy did have some health stuff and I believe some medication stuff up front. I'll say this, like, after he was able to get what he needed to do solved, like he did, my understanding from watching in the Discord, he was literally like, look, I'm going to drive until I'm nearly at the point of like pain and crying. And then I'm going to pull over into a side lot and then like wake up and keep going. So like,
yep.
I think you guys have seen it, but Billy is a big old boy. And yeah, just like I'm a bit bigger, like were the decisions to get there probably a lot of our own, 100%. But he got there. And I think a lot of people were expecting some of what Fat Camp was that didn't perform well. Like, to me, I enjoyed watching the Billy Brantley. I can't remember who else was up there, but like when they were doing the pool things, some of the stuff like that. But we've got to be honest. There were some watchers there, but it just didn't get much support. I know I would have wanted to see like one or two in the workout room, but those kind of were hit and miss. So I think to some extent they leaned into the things that they knew got more support. Like even the basketball thing they did, like to me, that kind of stuff was great. And I hope that that one comes more in the next Fat Camp, however hard it is to actually shoot. But yeah, I do think there was a certain part of the audience that wanted to see more of that. So I do have to agree that like he didn't get the opportunity to, but in some sense, like I think he was behind the eight ball as far as health was concerned. I mean, Tina, same thing. Like Tina, she was like in the hospital right before, right? Like the fact she even showed up is crazy to me. And we're right on our time, but I'm just going to go through it quickly. But yeah, I think some people want more of that, but like you wouldn't expect Tina to run around either, right? It's just because she was just recently sick. So I've got to put Billy in the same category for that. Also, it said Albert. Look, Albert, I think was having a lot of feels because of what happened with Pesci, and then just dealing with his mom and having to go too. Like, yeah, I think Albert kind of was not. I don't think Albert was in the right state of mind to be there this year, and that I think we've seen the consequence of it. I do hope he ends up on Lolcow Gay with Pesci again, especially with right now the issues they have with Phantom. But yeah, I don't think Fat Camp did him any service because Fat Camp's already stressful, and he was already coming behind the eight ball. Now I'm going to say this. I don't know if the redirect is actually in because this is set up to stop when I hit stop. I am going to take just an extra minute to find the next show that it's supposed to be going to and posting it in the chat here just because I want to be sure that it gets you there. It is going to be Chubby, right? Because they are on. Sorry, I'm new to the
double checking right now.
Yeah. So I'm going to make sure that I post it in here as well. Just give me 1 second because I do not know if the redirect actually got put in. Again, I don't have back-end access today. Control-C.
Hopefully, because I don't.
Yeah.
Albert quit. Yeah, he did. He did quit.
He did. At the end of the day, he did quit,
everything.
even with all the problems. But Here's another one. I kind of agree with, I don't agree that he quit, but I think Albert standing up, and we're going to send you over in just a minute. I'm just waiting for this link to take so that you guys can have it. I think Albert standing up for Pesci, if what he believes to be true was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
Albert was
if he
wrong and he
genuinely
has his
believes that, yeah.
perspective on it, then maybe he's wrong, but he's standing on a principle. And I know a lot of people have issues with Albert, and sometimes they call him, scamber or whatever. But when it comes to the things that he believes in, he stands on it. And Tina's the same way. Like, that's why you guys respect her. And so, yeah, Albert's standing on what he believes, and I can't knock him for that. And like I said, you guys may not like him for a lot of other reasons, but fucking guy stands on what he believes. And I don't know. I think I'm kind of more with
is
Albert in the
respect.
sense of him standing up for some of the Pesci stuff. And I've got to explore it further because I have to look back on it some more. But again, today was kind of just to go through the thing, Abby. It's been good. I know you've been tired too. We've only had a little bit of time to prepare, but I'm going to be cooking on, or you're going to be cooking on, one of us going to be cooking on some music. I'm going to double check this TTS situation. We'll get ourselves some back end. Guys, thanks for sticking with us. We're going to try releasing the Grays next time. And, naughty,
Yes.
W, better than the first few crack streams. Yeah, I hope it is. I had a whole thing to redirect. Oh, and Luna says the redirect is in. Thank you, Luna.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for the intro chill stream. We're going to bring you some better ones coming up next. And we're sending you off to Chubby's. Guys, thank you for hanging with Abby. It's been real. See you later.